Now, Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces have agreed to a 7-day humanitarian ceasefire brokered by the US and Saudi Arabia. It comes into effect on Monday evening. Now, the two sides have been locked in a power struggle for 5 weeks. More than 1 million people have been displaced by the fighting and at least 700 killed. Both sides have failed to honour previous ceasefires. Hibba Morgan joins us now live from Omdurman. Hibba, I actually have the 40-page document in my hands now which talks about this short-term ceasefire and the humanitarian arrangements for Sudan. It's lengthy, it's detailed, but what does it really mean practically for those on the ground in Sudan looking for some sort of respite?
Well, practically, if implemented, it would mean that humanitarian aid would be able to come to the more than 6 million people here in the capital, Khartoum, who will still remain trapped due to the fighting and have not been able to leave. And also practically, it would mean that people in the western region of Darfur, where fighting has also been ongoing for more than a week now, and where hospitals have been destroyed, leaving people with no medical assistance, will be able to get access to the needed assistance. But that's if the deal is actually implemented on the ground by the two sides. The residents here in Khartoum who we spoke to when we asked them about the ceasefire, they say that they're going to only believe it when they actually see it on the ground. Many people have been cut off from power and running water since the start of the conflict because of armed groups, specifically the Rapid Support Forces in the northern part of the capital, Khartoum, occupying these plants. And so they say that when they see these plants reoperating once again, and when they see the resupply of water and power back in their homes over the next 7 days, that's when they know that this deal will be implemented. Of course, it's due to start in the late hours of Monday here in Khartoum and in other parts of the country. And already we can see plumes of smoke rising from the northern part of the country, of the capital Khartoum, in the city of Bahri, in the early hours of this morning. And that's because, again, the deal doesn't come into effect until 48 hours after its signing. But it also states that both sides should refrain from any military activity during the 48 hours and should use this time to notify and alert their troops on the deal and its terms and specific points for them to be able to implement it on the ground. People here say that they've seen the previous ceasefires. They've seen how the two sides have agreed before to implement a ceasefire for aid to be able to come in and for people to be able to leave their areas where there's active fighting and conflict ongoing to safer zones. But then they're not sure if this one would hold, especially again, since previous deals have been made. But this is the first one that is actually being signed, and with monitors from both sides and the United States and Saudi Arabia. So they say if it happens on the ground, that's when they will believe that it is actually reality. And
you've touched on the second part of perhaps my question, that you can have as many ceasefires as you want, as many pauses in the fighting as possible. But at the end of the day, humanitarian agencies need to find a way of getting other needs and other supplies into the country, despite the water and the electricity you talked about. And they need confidence in an agreement that allows them to do their job, and also confidence in the public to look for help in the right places. Hibba, can you still hear me? It's Sahil Rahman in Doha. We seem to have lost Hibba there. We'll try and get back to her through the morning.